Hey guys, Mike from Wrestling Then and Now. Thanks so much for checking out the Roadblock clips. To order your own Roadblock figure, you can email the man himself at theroadblock49 at gmail.com. Again, that's theroadblock49 at gmail.com. Pick up your figure. Thanks so much for checking out the clips. Hope you enjoy them.
Jumped in the ring, literally jumped in the ring in Rochester. I don't know if you ever heard about it or not,
Tell me the
but
story, please.
I wrestled in junior high school, and college, and I had a amateur background, and then as I got older, I said, you know what, professional wrestling, I mean, it's very lucrative, you know what I mean, and you know, so I said, let me give it a shot. So I made up my resumes and all this and that from my amateur career. And I said, let me go to the local gym and meet Hogan because that's where they go when they come to town. And it was a TV taping that night. So, you know, I went there and Brutus Beefcake was working out. And I walked up to him. I said, oh, Brutus, how are you? I'm working out right now. He just totally blew me off. Totally. And I went up to Hogan. I said, excuse me, I hate to bother you. He goes, yeah, what's up, brother? At least he took the time. And I said, I'm trying to get in the business. Could you help me? Give me a lead somewhere where I could go? No one helped me. I made it on my own. I said, okay, well, thank you very much anyways. So I left there and I went to the War Memorial here when they were wrestling. And I'm sitting there by myself and I'm saying, okay, what am I going to do here? So the one man gang came out and he was wrestling Hogan that night. And when the one man gang came out, my adrenaline just started pumping up because I said to myself, I'm jumping in the ring tonight. The only way I'm going to get a chance to be able to get seen or noticed. And so what happened was I said before I went there, I said I didn't premeditate anything because you premeditate and it doesn't go the way you plan it, you got a real big problem.
So you
So I
you never
there,
went to school. You never locked up. Nothing.
nothing, brother, nothing.
Okay. Okay.
What happened was I jumped in the ring and I'm face to face with the gang, and I look at them and I go to literally, Mike. I looked at him and literally tried to do pick him up and slam him, brother. He's not going nowhere. That's like concrete.
Right.
So I dropped right down to my knees and I went amateur on him and I put a navy on him. I'm not sure if you know anything about amateur.
No.
I threw a navy on him where you put your one leg behind his and you put your arm between his crotch and you just drive. You know what I mean? You just drive him to the ground. And he fell. And as he fell down to the ground, I jumped up on top of him and I'm covering him, Mike. And I'm looking for the ref to count. One. The referee is yelling, security, security. And the one man and Slick was his manager at the time.
Right.
So what happened was I ended up ignoring him because I was looking for the ref still, counting, and he's calling security. And then Slick grabbed my hair. You got to go where your hair goes. So he grabbed me by the hair. I got up and I'm saying to myself, okay, what am I going to do? I'm not here to cause any problems So I mushed Slick away from me, just pushed him away. And as I did that, I turned around and lo and behold, one man gang, he's standing up walking towards me. And I'm backing up. And now my back's to the rope and I'm saying, oh, Lord, what am I going to do here now? And so he gets ready to tie up with me, but the security guards grab my legs out from under me. And he falls on top of me.
Wow.
Yeah, that kind of like, oh. And they pulled me out and they put the handcuffs on me and they brought me in the back. And Billy Jack Haynes, out of all people, come up to me because he's a shooter. I don't know if you know that or not.
Oh yeah.
A legit.
Yeah. He's legit.
And he
Yeah.
said, "Oh, you want to wrestle, huh?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "Come on, I'll wrestle you." I said, "Take the cuffs off." I mean, you're gonna wrestle me with my cuffs on? Take the cuffs off. I got no problem. I mean, I'm just here to, to get some kind of a direction where I could connection. You know what I mean? And so I think it was Rene Goulet or someone, one of the agents said, "Go on, Billy, get out of here." You know what I mean? And So they took me to jail, and they they let me out on my own recognizance, and they gave me like an appearance ticket for disorderly conduct.
Did you ever run into him after?
Yes, I did. When I went to go have a dark match for WWF, when I was at Larry Sharp's, I went to do a dark match. And what happened was, I went and sat down in the locker room, and Slick walked by me, and he took a double look, and he stopped. He goes, "No, hold up, hold up. No, no, no. You ain't that mother effer. You ain't that mother effer. Are you that mother effer that jumped in the ring?" I said, "Yeah, Slick." I said, "I'm sorry about that. I was just trying to get into the business. That's all. It wasn't nothing personal." He said, "Oh, no, 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 mother effer. No, no, no. You wait right here. You wait right here." And he ran. I mean, literally, he ran down the
Wow.
hallway and brought the one man gang and Big Boss Man with him, because they were partners at the time.
Okay.
And one man gang looked at me. He goes, "Yeah, what's up, Slick?" He goes, "You see this guy?" He goes, "Yeah, what about him?" He says, "Do you know who he is?" He goes, "No." He says, "He's the one that jumped in the ring against you in Rochester, New York." He goes, "Are you serious?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Gang, sorry, man. Nothing, just, nothing personal. I was just trying to get into the business. And he says, "Well, at least you finally got into business. Congratulations. And at least next time I'll know." He says, "So good for you, man. Good for you." So he was real,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
big
That could
boss
have
man,
that could have went
you know,
a totally different way. So yeah.
totally different way,
Yeah.
bro.
Right.
Totally different way, you know. In fact,
Wow.
how about this one? I ended up meeting and working with and traveling with Brutus Beefcake.
Right.
You
Oh
know, after
yeah, yeah. After he blew you off, yeah.
he blew me off, and after that, it was like I was saying, I was wrestling for Kevin Sullivan after WCW in '98
Right.
down in the Keys, and Kevin booked me with Lester, the Brutus Beefcake, to travel
Okay.
together.
Okay.
And we started traveling, and he said, "Well, hey man, I'm sorry, man. You know, I just I said, brother, you ain't got to explain." I just cut him right off before he even said anything. Don't worry about it. I understand. I understand. And I just cut him off, and we just
Right.
traveled together. We, you know, for the duration of however long we were on the road for that tour.